It's still loading. No, I don't wear the same shirts 5 days in a row. I tape these all in one day and then I edit them different days. But I still act like it's a different day. Spoilers. Anyway, it's time for Spot of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's take a look at some songs. Or better yet, you take a look at me listening to these songs. Because I guess that's my bright idea. Could be going better. We'll start this day off with Gashi and Butterflies. It must be Sunday, because the R&B is here. Very R&B. Usually Sundays are very R&B heavy, so yeah, we'll see. That's pretty mediocre R&B from Gashi, but whatever. It had a good start. I mean, the song started in a way that I'm like, oh, this could be interesting, but then it wasn't. Up next is Evie Irie and Worst Enemy. Lit had a song called My Own Worst Enemy. That was great. Evie Irie now has a song called Worst Enemy. It's pretty mediocre. Up next, Noah Kahan and A Troubled Mind. No wit, just me saying, yeah, adult contemporary, middle-of-the-road, British-sounding guitar pop. That's what this is. But if that's your jam, this is not bad. If it's kind of sometimes your jam like me, then it's kind of average. It looks like a lighthouse on the cover. I really want to see that movie with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. It's called The Lighthouse. It's about two lighthouse keepers. I don't know. It looks crazy weird. Anyway, up next is Gabby Barrett with Got Me. If I'm not mistaken, Gabby Barrett is kind of getting play as a country singer. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Warner Music Nashville. So I was worried this was going to happen because of Taylor Swift. And this isn't really Taylor Swift's fault. But it seems like when record labels have this new country singer who's a young lady, they try to push her in a pop country direction, like really lean into the pop. Because they all think they're going to get the next Taylor Swift to cross over into pop. And then, pop sells better than country. That's just the way it is. But yeah, this definitely sounds like somebody they're trying to push in that direction, which is too bad. And let a country singer be a country, unless she wants to go this direction. I don't know. I could be reading into this too much as the record label making her do one thing. But it could be her decision totally. I have no idea. But either way, it's very not country sounding country. Kind of like a Dan and Shay tequila, where it's just the blurring of those two genres continues. Mediocre. Up next is Turbo with Heartstop. Based on the sound and the album cover, which features him with a porn stash, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, naked in a bathtub crushing a beer can, it's like, I think we found Post Malone's older brother who's always giving Post Malone crap for being Post Malone. That's what this guy sounds like to me. It's like, I'm going to put him in the good enough just because. Just getting the image of him shoving Post Malone down the stairs is like, come on, kid. I know you got better than that. Then lighting up a cigarette as he goes to, I don't know, tune up his Mustang. I don't know. I can't think of anything more stereotypical at the moment. Up next, Grizzly and I Spy. The album cover makes it look like it's from some action movie soundtrack. The song sounds like it might be from some action movie soundtrack. But not that actiony. I don't know. Like from a very mediocre action film. I don't know. Remember when rap songs an up-tempo rap song was like really up-tempo? Like the other day I was listening to Outkast, B.O.B. I mean, nobody makes songs like that anymore. Nearly before or after, really. But yeah, Bombs Over Baghdad. Man, that was killer. I want a new Outkast album. Instead, I get Smoove L and Outstanding. Rapping a little fast, using a little auto-tune. Got that kind of borderline spooky, angry beats. Yeah. It's not exactly bowling me over, Smoove L. But, better mediocre than bad, I think. Unless you really, interestingly bad is one thing, but this is just mediocre. Up next is YG with Laugh Now, Cry Later. But for some reason, cry is spelled with a K. There's a funny rhyme in here about dictators. That made me chuckle. But otherwise, yeah, it's R&B, hip-hop, rap, so I don't know. Because I laughed out loud, I'll give it a good enough. Although I think the joke will be lost on the radio edit. Up next is Aluna and Alunageorge with Body Pump. Is this like the modern day version of Physical by Olivia Newton-John? I doubt it. That's one of those songs that's just mediocre enough to maybe be big, but probably not. I don't know. Hey, how about a little Love, L-A-V, with Wavy? The song's called Wavy, and I think that's the best way to describe the music. It's kind of got a dreamy Lana Del Rey, Mazzy Star thing going on. I also had to chuckle her bio on Spotify Lav. It says CEO of Bath Time. I don't know why, I just thought that was funny. Yeah, good enough. Almost put this in great just because this particular day has been kind of a bust so far. Up next is Paloma Mami and Gotio. I'm just gonna listen to the song. It's fine. It's good enough. I don't know. I have no idea what they're saying. Once again, I should have taken Spanish. Maybe I should have gotten more into learning a new language during this period of downtime in my life. Oops. Don't feel the need to be, super productive. I mean, this is kind of a nationwide traumatic event we're all going through. And don't judge yourself by what other people are accomplishing. Some people's brains, you're going to go into a mode where you're just got to... There's much better articles that have been written about this than me, or even Twitter threads that I'm trying to explain. But don't have the mindset you just got to learn a new skill or be good at something because of this. I mean, this is all a pretty big, major change we've all had to go through. And if your way of coping with it is not learning anything and not doing much, you do you. Let's do up some Milky Chance and Jack Johnson next with Don't Let Me Down. I'd kind of forgotten Jack Johnson existed. I mean, I was okay with it. I never really cared for Jack Johnson very much. I don't trust people who don't like shoes. That's just a thing. And it sounds like a Jack Johnson song that somebody remixed and put a beat behind, so it's pretty much what it is. Up next is Mount Joy and Death, which is an odd title from a band called Mount Joy. This is an interesting one. It's a very upbeat song called Death. And my favorite weird song like that is Conor Oberst has a solo track called I Don't Want to Die in the Hospital, but it's a positive stomper. Makes you want a white person dance. But it's called I Don't Want to Die in the Hospital, so that's weird. Up next, Seat Headrest with Famous. Their new album just dropped. I might have to check that out. But yeah, it's good enough. Makes me miss doing the Sunday Night Shag a little bit. Oddly enough, don't miss doing that show very much. Don't miss a lot of my old job very much. I don't know. I think I was ready for a change, but since nothing's really changed, I'm just still talking about music, except I'm doing it in front of a camera now. Maybe that wasn't a change for the better. Up next, Kristian Alexander, Growing Up. Maybe someday this song will grow up and not be so mediocre. I will say this for it, though. It's at 225, you're maximizing your streams. So I'm glad Kristian paid attention, Anson. Anyway, here's some Amber Mark in 1894. I was wondering where 1894 was going to pop up in this song. And when it finally did pop up, I'm like, oh, That's actually way more clever than I was expecting. You know, I'm going to put this in the grade file. Just because the working in 1894 was a lot more clever than I expected. Like, I had no idea how they're going to work it into the song, so maybe anything would have been clever, but yeah. I like how they did it, so check this one out. Up next is Kota the Friend with Joey Badass and BQE. This one's curious. It doesn't sound any more original than some of the other songs I put in mediocre, but there's just something about it. Something about the chorus, the way it just kind of flows, bumped it to good enough. I don't know. Chorus really grabbed my ear. It's like the verses, I'm just like drifting away, and all of a sudden the chorus is like, hey, come here. So, well done. Up next is Kid Ink and Live Forever. Oh, is this a remake of Oasis? It is not a remake of Oasis. So that's for the good. That's probably for the best. Otherwise, yeah, it's Kid Ink. I don't know. It's Kid Ink. Pretty mediocre. Up next, a minute 42. Kudos to you, OT Genasis. You were paying attention in class. Here's I Look Good. I do not. Just the way he says, I look real good today, made me laugh. I don't know why. It's funny. Funny story about OT Genasis when his big hit Coco was gaining steam. I was like, I didn't quite know what he meant by Coco because I'm painfully small town unhip. So when he gets to the part of the song where he's like, I got baking soda, I'm like, what does baking soda have to do with cocoa? Thinking it was like Cocoa Krispies or some dumb thing like that. But then I look more into it, I'm like, he's talking about the powdered nose candy, isn't he? Yeah. Well, there you go. Anyway, let's wrap up today with Hit Boy and Dom Kennedy and Nominated. Coming in like we went out. Pretty mediocre. Had 11 mediocres today. That's way more than we should have had. I don't think I've ever had that many mediocres in one playlist. But hey, you know, some days, like Tom Petty said, some days are diamonds, some days are rocks. But actually, there was another artist who said that too, I found out. So, I guess it's been said by several people. Anyway, I'll say several more things tomorrow on Spotify. Saturday, Sunday.